Hello, friends. Today I'm bringing you guys the mid-year book freakout tag. Original creators will be down below and also the questions. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first question is the best books you've read so far in 2022. And so far I've read, in January to June, I read I think 5 books, if I'm not mistaken. 7 to 3, not including a DNF. So that means I have a lot of things to choose from, and I'm a very indecisive, and I want to mention everything that I really enjoyed, but here are the ones. I tried to put them into genres, and the reason why I chose this is because I'm trying not to repeat the answers to the questions, so we can go, faster. But first one is fantasy, and I have Diary of Blood by S.D. Gibson. This one is a very short, I don't even want to say it's really directly fantasy, because it's actually kind of, I don't know if I'm putting this in the right genre type thing, but it's kind of like literary as well. It's a second-person perspective. We are following consort of Dracula, and this book is essentially like the last letter Constanta, the main character, is giving to Dracula, and it's explaining how their relationship has changed throughout the years and what led to the start of this book, which is her killing Dracula. It was beautifully written. I just flew through this book so much. I only had one tab. I don't know why, but this entire book is amazing. Beautiful writing, very atmospheric, and it's really like a character study of Constanta, especially in terms of her relationship with Dracula and everything kind of related to him. So I really enjoyed this one. Another one is an arc that I read, Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This is already out. This is the Fairy Loot edition, and I had really high hopes for this one because the premise of it sounds very interesting. It is a 1001 Nights inspired story, and we're following a cowardly prince and a thief, essentially. And I loved the lore of this book, just the entire history and magic and background. I really enjoyed it, and also our characters. It's kind of found family, but they all have different goals for the same mission that they have. I enjoyed following all the characters, and I cannot wait for the second book. The way this ended, where it ended, I'm so excited to see where it's gonna go. Just a lot of things happened. Okay, a lot of things happen in this book, and it's long, but it's fast paced. Well, I really like the pacing. I wouldn't say it's super fast paced, but there's a lot of things happening, and it furthers the story very well, in my opinion. So I really enjoyed this one. And then for romance, I also have two. One is 7 Days in June by T.O. Williams. I also had really high expectations for this one, and I knew in a way that I would love this one because of the way people talked about this and the way that so many people love this. So I just knew I'm going to love this. A lot of trigger warnings for this one though. Our main characters have gone through a lot as kids, especially around the time that they met. Both had really difficult childhood and were seeing them a few years after, and having made a name for themselves, to their connection, their love, their romance. It's a love story, and I love this so much. Next, of course, one of my most highly anticipated releases of this year, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on this one, especially with this mainly touted as a romance book, but has a very strong kind of familial element as well, present. But to me, it only added on to our main character, Nora, and her story and the way that she views the world. Her as a person, a large part of being who she is being a big sister. To me, that aspect I related to so much and made me love Nora even more, and Charlie even more, and the romance. And I really love the way that this ended because it felt realistic, but at the same time, it's heartbreaking, but I wouldn't want it any other way type ending, So I love this one. Then for literary, I don't know if I should label this literary because this is, I believe, a classic as well, and it's a short story. This is The Ones Who Walk Away for Omelas by Ursula K. Le Guin. I've been wanting to read this book for so long, and I finally got around to it, and it's 32 pages, okay? I read it in one sitting, and there's so many things to take from this. And the thing is, it has been a reflection of our society since this was released years and years and years ago, and especially until now, I believe, and I feel like. So just there's a lot to take from this book, so really enjoy this one. And for contemporary, I have All My Rage by Sabatir, one of my most anticipated releases of this year as well. I received an ARC for this one. I got the physical copy. I regret not buying the signed copy. I don't know why I did not buy the signed copy. Why did I do that? I should have gotten one. But anyway, so All My Rage by Sabatir. This is a YA literary contemporary book following our two main characters, Noor and Salahuddin, and they are best friends who have kind of a falling out, and we're kind of discovering why there was a falling out, especially with them graduating from high school and their own families, what's going on with their own families, and there's a lot of things that these two gone through, and they are so precious to me. I cried a lot, okay, for this book. Made me very, very emotional, and a lot of trigger warnings as well, so be careful going to this one. But beautifully written story about love, family forgiveness. I have just the affection that I have for this book and these characters. Okay. Next one, the best sequel you read so far in 2022. The Dragon Republic, Burning God, and The Drowning Fate, which is a novella. I read The Poppy War. I think Poppy War was one of the last books that I read last year, and this is one of the first books that I read this year. And I did a reading vlog for this one and I was crying a lot. It broke me. So definitely best sequel of the year. And this is why I didn't include this in the first question, because I want to talk about this one. But yes, just Rin and her story, the way that she grew from the first book, the second book, and of course the third book. I know a good chunk of people who have read The Poppy War are not big fans of Rin, but I love her. I love her. And yes, it is a villain origin story in a way, but I love her still. Following her story, following everything that she went through in her childhood, going to school, and in the war, it's just, to me, I cared about her a lot. So these books. New release I haven't read yet, but want to. I have a lot. I have a lot. So these are just the ones that like are in my top. The first one is The River Silver by S.A. Chakraborty. I actually have this currently available on my library, but this is the audiobook form, so I think I'm going to wait until the end of this year to get the physical copy of it. But yeah, I've had the audiobook available for like more than a month now, so yeah. Like currently, as I'm filming this, I have it available for 3 more days, but I think I am going to wait until the end of the year so I can have the physical copy and listen to the audiobook as well. So there's that. And then also Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I have this one already pre-ordered, a signed copy of this one. I don't know when it's going to get to me, but it has already been released, so just waiting for this one. I was hoping to get the ARC, but I wasn't able to. Yes, very excited for this one. I heard a lot of really great things, and I'm excited for her next like book series because it's kind of like a spin-off series. We're following characters that we've met in this book series in that new series, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So the next one is A Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon. This was, I think, pushed back for a few weeks because I was waiting for like announcements of when this was going to be out from the author, but I didn't hear anything around the time that this was initially announced. But I will be ordering a physical copy of this one once it becomes available. The last time that I checked, it only had the Kindle version available, and I want the physical copy. The author's shop is not like currently operating, so I don't know when that's going to happen, but once the physical copy becomes available wherever, I'm going to buy it. I want to get it from her website because when I ordered the first book for this one, it came in with character art, and I wanted to get character arts for this one as well, but I don't know what's going to happen. But Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon. Next one, the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have got a few, but these are the 2 like top ones. I do know that I'm getting this in the August Olympic Grade box. That is already secured. I already have this pre-ordered also in Barnes & Noble, so I know I have 2 copies for sure that are coming in, so I'm excited. I've seen the arcs, I've heard people talk about it. People have been broken by this book. I want to be broken too, but I need to wait until the copy gets to me, which this is actually coming out near my birthday, August 23rd, so I don't know. Just taking it aside. Anyway, next one is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faizal. This is set to come out in November, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, of this year. I haven't really heard any like updates on this one yet, but there hasn't been any changes so far that I think of in terms of when this is going to be released. But again, I'm very, very excited because I did love We Held the Flame and We Freed the Stars from Hafsa Faizal, and I've just been waiting very patiently for more books from her. So, and she also got married, by the way, and I was really surprised when I saw the announcement on her Instagram because I didn't even know that she was engaged. But yeah, she got married like a few weeks ago, so biggest disappointment. Go Hunt Me by Kelly Davis. I read Kelly Davis's book last year, Eat Your Heart Out, and I loved that one so much. I didn't really expect it to love as much as I did, and so I had like really high expectations for this one. And knowing that this was going to be like a group of friends, I was very excited to kind of like really connect with the friends. And I know that they're all going to be like probably dying because that's what the premise says, that each one of them are dying like slowly one by one. It's like a slasher type movie in a way. And just, I did not like where the story went. I guessed where it was going, and I knew that if it was going that way, which it did, and I knew likely it would, that I wouldn't like it, that I will not, that it wouldn't be the thing for me, especially if it's going the way that the writing has been going while I was reading it. So yeah, I was really disappointed with this one. I wanted to love this because I did love her previous book. So, and like the premise is it's set in a Romanian castle with like film buffs, and they're filming like this project that they have for them to get into college, and they're a group of friends, and I had really high expectations. So yeah, the next one is the biggest surprise for me. That is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. When I I went to this one, I didn't really like have high expectations, but because I haven't really heard anybody talk about it, and I did receive the art. I saw it on NetGalley and was like, oh, let me try, you know, see if I could get approved for this one, and it got approved, surprisingly. And I knew that this was going to be, I actually skipped the 𝐿lumicrate box for this one because I wasn't really interested, which I regretted. Thankfully, luckily, I was able to get the book for like a really great price, like the entire box actually for a really great price. So I have the special edition. I think you can see it right there, the red one. Anyway, so I didn't really have high expectations for this one. It sounds interesting. It sounds like, you know, I might like it, but to me, it's kind of probably going to be like a mid type thing. Like, I would enjoy it, but it wouldn't be like a love type book. I was so wrong. And I'm so glad that I did get around to reading this, and now I have 2 copies of it. And I'm waiting for 𝐿lumicrate to announce when they're going to have a pre-sale of the book, because the second book, surprisingly, is going to come out later this year, and this one was released February, and the second book is going to be coming out, I think, December. So very, very excited. The writing is amazing, atmospheric, the characters I love, and I cannot wait for the second book because of where we ended. And it's not just following the 2 main characters that we have, it's also made a really great portrait of the other characters in this story, and just made like the whole, it's like a really well done painting. I don't really know anything about painting, but in my head that's where we're going. But yeah, it's not just the main characters, not just the world, all these elements going together. Like every character feels real. There's a certain like rawness and realness to the characters that I just really appreciate and really loved. So Referral Links by Rebecca Ross. And then new favorite author. So again, Rebecca Ross, definitely looking forward to reading the next book for this one, and just her writing, really. And I don't know if I mentioned Arf Kwong last year as one of my new favorite authors after reading The Poppy War, but I'm gonna mention her really quickly. Also Lily Vale, the author of Beauty and the 𝐵𝐵𝐻. This is a YA contemporary, and I really love this book so much because of the characters, just the whole overall story. It just had me like squealing and screaming, and just, it was very cute. I really like this one, so definitely looking forward to other Lily Vale books. Also the author of The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. The writing, the characters, the plot, I really enjoyed, and so I'm really looking forward to reading more from her. And also Lauren Asher, the author of, I think The Dirty Heir is her most popular completed series, but I have read the fine print from her and I really, really enjoyed this one. So I feel like she's going to be like a really kind of, I feel like her writing is kind of gonna be like a cozy, quick, fun read for me. So I have the fine print. I haven't read terms and conditions, but it is in my TBR. So I mean, I have it physically. So we'll be reading this one, and I'm planning on getting the Dirty Heir series as well. So Lauren Asher. I've only read 1 book from her, but I feel like I'm just going to have such a fun time reading her stories. A newest fictional crush. Can you guess my 2 favorite romances? Charlie Lastra and Shane. If you read it, you know. Next one. Newest favorite character. Guinn from the Dragon Republic or the Poppy War, definitely. And also Zofia from the Golden Wolves trilogy. She's like my favorite character in that trilogy. Next one, book that made you cry. The Burning God by Arf Kwong. I have a vlog on this and I couldn't stop crying. And just talking about the book, even after weeks of reading it, even after days of reading it, I was still crying to that one. Also, Flowers for Algernon broke me. This book broke me, so. The next one, the book that made you happy. As I mentioned earlier, The Beauty and the 𝐵𝐻𝐬 by Lily Vale. Just all the silently screaming part. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Also, Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. I Need to Get to Twisted Lies. Also, Lethal Romance, which is a manhwa. This is completed. This was hilarious. I had so much fun reading this. And of course, Goodbye In-Law, another manhwa. A lot of laughing out loud. And I've gotten a lot of memes from these 2 as well. So next one, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. So I have The Sylvan Kingdom by Taira Mafi. Look at it. This is a 𝐿lumicrate special edition. So of course it's going to be pretty. And I'm waiting for them to announce also what the cover is going to be for the second book, because the second book just got announced as well. And of course, Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. Look at that printed edge. Look at that printed edge. And the end papers are gorgeous. So I think I have pre-ordered the second book of this. Wait, no, I don't think I have. Have they announced a second book for this one? I don't know, but if Fairyloot is going to be making, of course, a second book for this one, a version of this one, a version of the second book, I'll definitely get it because this is beautiful. This is gorgeous. I love it. And for like special editions, I showed this one off earlier, A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is the UK paperback edition. And when I saw it like just online, I was like, you know, I prefer the US cover, and I got the US cover and it was very pretty, but I saw this one too and I was like, wait, I think I like this one, especially with like the foiling details. So yeah, I don't know what the second book is going to look like because they haven't released the UK cover yet for this one, only the US cover. And then A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. It has beautiful end papers. It has this foil embossing, which is really cute. Just look at that. Gorgeous end papers. I did not expect that when I opened this. I was like, wait, it's very close to being a special edition book, honestly. So those are the prettiest books that I have. And then what books do I need to read by the end of the year? I don't want to take them out because I'm really being lazy right now, but I'm just gonna show you pictures. So you have the Greenbone Saga. I have this special edition. I haven't read it. I read it. I want to. By the end of this year, I want to. My Dark Vanessa. Also, recently got a secondhand copy of this one. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, especially with Foul Lady Fortune coming out very soon. I need to get to it. And then Sort of Kaigen by Emma Wang. I heard a lot of great things. I feel like I'm going to like it. Game of Scars duology by Lee Bardugo. I don't need to read it to watch a second season. I've heard a lot of really mixed things about this one. Even those that loved both Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone. I don't know, but I love the main character. I'm forgetting his name. Nicola? Am I remembering that correctly? I don't know. But I love his character. It's one of my favorites. So I need to get to read. I need to get to this one. And then The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I haven't read this one because I'm waiting for the third book to come out, which is coming out in August. So that's going to be next month. I have it pre-ordered already. So once that comes in, hopefully I'll get to reading the rest of the series, the entirety of the series. Like I said, I own the first two books in hardcover copy. I think they're both also like Barnes & Noble special edition. So yeah, I should. And because I really enjoyed her. The Naturals series, if I'm remembering the name of that series correctly. It's also YA. So yeah. Heard mixed things about this one, but I feel like I will really enjoy this based from like hearing the criticisms for this book. And then last question, favorite book committee members. So I'm gonna go through the ones that are like more popular and are here on YouTube. I do have quite a few that are in BookTok. So the first one is Cindy and Elias. Of course, I love them. Also have Sunny Kim, who I mentioned, I think, in my Koreadathon vlog, How to Train Your Gavin. I really have been enjoying his videos. Books with Emily Fox. I first subscribed to her when she was still doing her beauty channel, and then she started her bookshop channel, which I was like, what? And I started watching her there, and I don't think she's been posting anything on her beauty channel now. Yeah, I also have a book olive. A book olive is mostly focused on nonfictions, and I've been getting a lot of nonfiction recommendations from her. I haven't really read a lot of them, but I have like a list of books that I do want to try reading. Or also Murphy and Pierre. Murphy, I love her. I really enjoy her videos. Elliot Brooks, Mal Reads, and then on Book Talk I have a Bookworm Bullet and Mallory. So those are my favorite committee members. I do have a lot. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your answers to these questions as well, and I will see you on my next one.